Meantime, there's been confirmation that a group of people representing holders of the Zimbabwean Exemption Permit are going to court to try and stop Cabinet's plan to end the permit. Under the permit, Zimbabweans who came here during that country's economic and political crisis from 2009 are allowed to live and work here with no other permit. Now, 11 years after that permit was first implemented, Cabinet says it won't renew it. Around 180,000 people are directly impacted on this. But they will have families, children, parents. You can imagine the upheaval that this will cause. A lawyer representing the holders of the Zimbabwean Exemption Permit is Advocate Simba Chitando. Mr. Chitando, good afternoon to you, and thank you very much indeed for your time. On what grounds are you challenging this decision by Cabinet to scrap the permit?
A bad decision, a decision made at a time when we all know we're in the middle of a COVID pandemic. We know that Home Affairs is not operating operating its optimum capacity during the COVID restrictions time, and we also know that the 12-month grace period after the decision, after the ZEP permit comes to an end, will not be enough time for anyone to get any application processed, any of those 180,000 people. No one can simply comply with the decision by Cabinet. The individuals concerned, they have given their best years of their lives. They've lived and worked here for more than a decade, lawfully. A lot of people have said that, no, these are unlawful or illegal immigrants. They've lived here lawfully under provisions that provide for permanent residency. They are permanently resident in the country, and they've been wrongly deprived of the rights of permanent residency. That's what we're challenging in court.
So I suppose the argument would go like this. After 11 years, you would have had children here. They would probably be South African citizens because they were born here. You might have married South African nationals. It would basically have led to an expectation that someone could stay here permanently. Would that be part of your argument?
Yes, that's correct. There is a legitimate expectation, a right created by the constant renewals of these permits. They're called different things, but they're in essence the same thing. Before ZEP, there was a regime called ZSP, Zimbabwe Special Permit, I think it was called, and then there was the DZP. You know, there have been various changes to the same creature, the same thing, just by different name, which is rights that give Zimbabweans, an opportunity to live and work in the country permanently.
Mr. Chitando, I mean, my heart may be with you. I'm not going to say whether it is or not, but I think you can guess. But my head does come up with some arguments against you, I'm afraid. One of them would be this. You can't have a permit going on like this forever. So it would allow people into the country with no legal reason. So it just allows them here. All the Zimbabwean Exemption Permit did was allow them to stay here legally when there was no other way for them to be here legally. Therefore, it should follow. Cabinet can change its decision. It created this. It can now remove it.
Well, the holders have a better right. I understand what you're saying. You're saying that, no, look, I'll play devil's advocate for just a moment. Look, the Cabinet has changed its mind. These people are now ingrained in society. They have been here legally. You've rightly said legally. But the permit that they were given isn't provided for. There's nothing called ZEP in the Immigration Act. It's something that the government created just for this group of people. And not all of them have the same circumstances. And in fact, I believe even the decision by Cabinet, they say that every individual can migrate after the expiry of this permit in December to a permit of whatever circumstance that they fall under. The most important thing is that every single one of them has one golden line running through, which is they've been here for more than 10 years. And under the law of this country, a person who's legally been in the country for more than, I think it's 5 years, is entitled to permanent residency.
I think it is 5 years. Another argument, if I were to go against you, again, it might be a difference between my head and my heart on this, would go like this. Zimbabweans came here during a specific time as qualified in the permit, but they're now being treated differently to everyone else in our region just because they came from Zimbabwe and just because they came from this time. So, someone who wanted to come here from Botswana, Namibia, another member of SADC, Rwanda, the Democratic Republic of Congo, interesting case, would not be able to do that. All of those people would not be able to do something someone else could just because they're from Zimbabwe. Surely that's unfair.
Well, okay, just as a point of correction, not many people know about this ZEP permit. There are other countries. Lesotho, I believe, there is a permit just for the people from that country. Similar, I think it's a Lesotho dispensation permit. I've forgotten the name of it. But Zimbabwe is not the only country. I think Angola might be also. But there's various other, Zimbabwe is not the only insider country. That's important. That's one. Two, the converse is correct. That would be my argument, that Zimbabwe should have been given, this 180,000 people, should have been given a permit that is provided for by the Immigration Act, which is a permanent residency permit, which is being given to successful applicants from other countries, and I believe a bias towards more developed countries. German citizens and British citizens are acquiring permanent residency in this country. So the question really is, it's unfair that the Zimbabweans aren't getting this permit. In fact, it's unfair that they've been herded into a permit that nobody wants, but they're being forced to get. A permit that deprives them of civil rights. In fact, this ZEP permit separates families. It doesn't apply to the children of the holder, and it disregards the status of the spouse, whether it's a South African national or not. It's a very problematic permit, and I believe it's about time to give these individuals, 108,000 of them, give them permits once, and let's put an end to this matter.
Simba Chitando, the advocate representing holders of the Zimbabwean exemption permits, thank you very much indeed. I do appreciate it.